Okay, it does seem to be working. But this is not working, so we will not use it. No, that's not what I did. Duplicate. Oh, I am live. Great, you guys are watching. We are not doing vase mode. TBD. Or to fill in a bit. Okay. Let's get rid of this description because I am messing everything up. Hein Christensen. Is that pronounced right? Can you guys hear me okay? I assume you can. My OBS says that it's working correctly. I had all this set up and I'm frustrated that I messed it up. Is it active in here? No, it forgot it. Okay. I had set up, let me just fill in this video description because, well, here you guys can watch while I do it. Because I have it set up so you guys can watch me. There we are, I'm small now. So, I am just filling in this information here. And playlist of the, since we're still catching up people right now, I'm just going to fill this in while we're waiting for people to log in. Playlist of the Turbine build. Okay. And then I see I had filled this in and it wasn't loading. Like it would have a preview up here, but it wasn't working. So I went to my live dashboard, which is what I'm viewing you guys on here, and it does work here. So I don't know what was happening with this one, and I had it all filled out. You know, it's good enough. So that the purpose of the stream, well, two things. I'm gonna start something 3D printing in a little bit. And then the second thing is I want to work on a script for part 16 video. And I think it'd be an interesting experiment to have you guys help. So the description here is, let's crowdsource for Turbine 16. Okay, so that description should be live now. Yes? Okay. What's all this junk here? Do I have to now click? So there's a new control room now? That's interesting. Let's just copy this in case it loses it, because, you know, it could. And make sure monetization is on. Go to live control room. See, it... skip. See, I don't know why it's doing that. But it works in the live dashboard. So we're gonna just ignore this for now because I can see you guys in here. and we'll go with this. Can I pop out? Yes, we'll pop out chat, and then we will go to the script here, grab my pop out. So you guys are right beside it. And then Mini-Me is still up there, so that's good. I assume you guys can read that okay, because I have the screen resolution. Everything should be matched to the output. Because like I have a 1440p screen and 1080p streaming. Well, actually I could turn it up to 1080p. But I want you guys to be able to read the text, so I'm going to leave it like this. You don't need to have posted a video to help me with writing a script, because I've never done it either. Alright, 3D printer. So I printed this. It's a cap for a network box. Just gonna peel this off here. And it's just a 2.5-inch disc with a rib on the inside. I actually just downloaded the part from McMaster Car, and then I modified the part file for a notch. And I have 2 others printed. I already put them on, so this is the 3rd one, and it needed the notch for the wires to go through. I hope it's big enough. That notch is a little bit small. So that was a successful print. Let me turn on. It's probably my wife saying quiet down. No, it's not that. It is still going, yes. Okay. I wanted to change... turn on autofocus so you guys can see this. Come on, autofocus. There you go. And it's all washed out, so never mind. We're not going to do that. Turn off autofocus, and then focus me back into focus there. That looks pretty good. Okay. This script is for the video, for me talking, it's not a program. The plastic is pretty strong and pretty flexible at the same time. And I just have to clear the rest of this off. Come on. There we go. Put the build plate on, make sure it doesn't catch on anything. And then I have the file loaded there. So you go in here, load the TF card, print from TF model, and then here I have I wanted to try printing a CHEP cube, which in 3D printing terms is kind of like a calibration cube. But a CHEP cube with CHEP's Curo profile loaded in. So that's heating up now. So CHEP has a YouTube channel. I can just put it here. Here. This guy has a cool channel with a whole bunch of 3D printing videos and information. So he just did a Cura 4.4 profile, and that's what I use, Cura 4.4. So I loaded his profile. You just go to one of these up here, and you can manage your profiles and then add a profile. And then these are his custom profiles, so I loaded that. And it changes a bunch of these settings for optimum performance. for example, the end of each layer, like here is an end of a layer, it will turn off the extruder and then coast to the corner. So that's one thing that he has turned on. And then a few other things are tuned in here. So I have this guy loaded and printing on the printer now. Okay. Let's get our chat pop out here. Apparently we're going to have to do this. There we go. Cardwell, so yes, that is a 3D printer fan you hear in the background. Is it loud and annoying? There's not much I can do about it. I mean, I can put my hand in front of it. But, whatever. Hi, Captain John. Alright, script for the video, talking, not programming. GRAM. There we go. That's more descriptive. Okay. Good, Cardwell. Maybe I could tape something over top of it like a buffer. A baffle. Yes, a baffle. That's what it would be called. Or I could get some, what are they called? Noctua fans. The Pie Guy, you're in here. You're always in here. Welcome. I'm busy. Well, programming is just like script writing for video, I'm sure. Part 1. Intro. And I specifically want to include references to other videos, including their series or playlist specifically. And I could put this even closer to me so it's a little bit clearer. You won't hear as much of the 3D printer, and I can turn down my gain. And I want to do an overview of the system. I'm just reading the comments. Andrew, did you see the one to 3D print most of the parts to make any size 3D printer or CNC? It's a video of a scalable 3D printer system, I presume. No, I did not see it. And this was so I've been talking with Land to House offline, well, online through emails. And he had specifically kind of requested a overview of the system. Oh, 3D printer's going. My microphone's in the way a little bit. So it's homing, and it's purging the tip. And then it's going to do 3 perimeters, and now I do have to watch to make sure that it's tuned correctly because bed adhesion is like critical to print anything. Looks like it'll work well. Cardwell, I may actually have a radio voice. I have the correct accent of English, American English, if you could say that. And that is no accent or neutral accent. 3D printer is an Ender 3. I got it on the Woot Black Friday sale. Alright, back to this. Why is it not letting me type? Is my keyboard dead? Do I have So I have a wireless keyboard, but it dies. So, and I don't have a charge cable down here, so I need to run upstairs and get a charge cable. I guess I can zoom in on the 3D printer and you guys can watch it for a little bit while I run upstairs and get a charging cable. To work. My cord is like 6 inches too short to plug into the outlet. There, now I have keyboard control back. Let's get this guy back in here. You can hear me all right. Zoom that out because it doesn't need to be zoomed in all the way. Okay. Let me type in some stuff that's on top of my head first. Overview of the system. First I'm going to do... where should I start? So I guess we have to start with the spring. The spring is not mine. So spring, specifically... It's not on my property, and that I got permission. So this is just going to be, I guess, an outline. I could fill it in later. I got permission to tap it from the owner. And then I got to run the Penstock across my other neighbor's property. I should probably say what type of spring it is. So it's a spring with I don't know how to say that it doesn't dry up, but it's very reactive to weather, to rain or snow melt. In my case, over the past few days, actually. So we'll just say it has a decent base flow, temperamental, or MMTAL, I can't talk and type at the same time, with varying flows based on rainfall. And snowmelt, because we have not had any rain or snow or anything for surprisingly the past week, and flow has increased because of sun melting the snow on the hilltop. From the owner, so the owner who owns the spring, he actually lives 2 doors down that way. And then the guy who owns the property that the pipe runs across lives, I actually don't know where he lives, but he owns a business right next door. And he owns that property too. He owns a lot of the property behind his shop. Let me just catch up on the comments here. Hi Dubes402, you're a common viewer here. The Pie Guy, I'm just going to make you a moderator because you're in every channel and you seem to help out some. Yeah, computers don't care how it's writ as long as it works. Oh, look, a ladybug. See the ladybug? Okay. I don't care if it works either. I mean, I don't care how it sounds as long as it works too. Andrew H, I don't know why you would make a table-sized 3D printer unless you were printing with really fat extrusions, because that would take forever to print anything. Hein Christensen, bye. I'm sorry if you already left. Mike Carter, is the title of the video "Let's Crowdsource a Script for Hydro Turbine 6"? I hope it is. So that's pretty much descriptive of what's going on. And the Chep cube is printing away. So my keyboard's charging now. It's a wireless keyboard. So I have a Ender 3 Pro, which, well, I don't know what you mean by auto calibration. Do you mean BL Touch for bed mesh leveling? I would like to do that eventually, yes. Yeah, I just left for a little bit. What are you talking about with a 16-inch turbine? I don't know what you're talking about. My turbine's like 5 inches. Unless you're talking about with Chris Harbor. I don't know. Yes, spring on one property crosses over another. I tend to do all of my videos on the tip of the tongue anyways. That's not the right saying, but you know what I mean. Permanent weather, fluctuating spring. Yes, okay. Cardwell, congrats on the promotion, my dude. I don't know what you mean. Have I promoted myself? Bed mesh leveling, yes. I would love to do that because my bed, it's convex, so it has a little bit of a hump in the middle. So I can't print anything that's super large. I have problems with it being too thin in the middle and too thick on the perimeter, so the perimeter doesn't adhere, but the middle is like over extruding. Oh, the Pie Dudes promotion. Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, it's 10:30 tonight where I am. So I should probably, in the spring flow here, state previous videos. I've measured the flow. Mastered the flow? Yeah, okay. And I've gotten between, we'll say anywhere from 1 gallon per minute all the way to, in the barrel, I've seen up to 55 GPM, literally during a rainstorm. And that includes water overflowing. Or, oh, not really overflowing, but flowing through the overflow. Okay. RCS, I still don't know what you're talking about with this 16-inch turbine. Oh, I see now. 16 number, we will add number 16. It's not a 16-pound turbine, it's number 16. That helps. Cardwell, a conductive sensor. Does it conduct with the bed of the printer, or is it just a switch of some sorts? That's all I'm curious about. Because obviously my bed is not conductive. Then 3-inch pipe, because I knew that would flow flow my design flow rates into a barrel, and the barrel is specifically for bubbles, buffering. It looks cool. A little bit of sediment settling. By bubbles, I mean that it lets them settle out. Cardwell, don't worry about being distracting. You could maybe start copying and pasting in Moby Dick and I'd probably read through it. Don't do that. 'Tis a stupid book. What else does it do? I guess it kind of gives me a way to do multiple outlets. Because specifically it's going to, at some point in the future, probably water the horses up there. Hose. I have a hoe in my truck. I use it to get things out of the bed that I can't reach. You know, the one on a handle. Okay. So going through the system, I also have Penstock, specifically 1.5 inches design size for 30 GPM, which is about 95, or we'll say 98% 2% of use case. So 2% of the time I'm estimating, or 2% of the power would be lost over the year. And if I did any larger, it would cost more. Like even 1.25 inches would be too restrictive. Also have a valve to shut off water, and then a vent tube to not vapor lock. I mean, it's kind of a vapor lock, but vacuum relief. If I turn off the valve, then the penstock can drain and not try collapsing the pipe with vacuum. Korean, I don't speak or read Korean. I'm sorry. Air release. Yes, that's a good way to do it. Just reading the comments here. I like it up here so I can show you guys what I'm reading. Okay, let's talk about other types of turbines. I mean, yes, other types of turbines, but I guess history should be here. Other types of playlists, specifically a playlist of extras. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. All the videos that are about the hydro system that are not numbered. And then we also have the water wheel, which I built. Has millions of views, which does make me happy. And lots of fun. Yes, I was ahead on that project before I even put water through it financially. Although I still think of my entire channel here as a minimum wage job or part-time job that doesn't pay as much as I could be making as an engineer. Yet. Brandon, hey. Mike Carter to clean it out. It's not really a clean out thing. Yes, it is messy in the back. I know I need to clean. So, the Pi guy, let me switch to me real quick and I'll get something else up for you. There. Maybe you guys can watch the 3D printer in the back while I load something up for you. There, yeah, that'll work. Turn that off. Okay, since you guys are here, we will watch this video. Hahaha, you see it? You guys see that? Brandon DeGraff. Delta turbine? What's a delta turbine? Anyways, so we'll play this. I'm talking in the video, but I don't know of a good way to turn that on. I guess we can just watch it since we're here. So my other charge controller was no good with hydro. It was just the wrong tuning profile. And we can see there, well, if you saw it, it started at 168 volts. I'm trying to get rid of the glare in here. 168 volts. And now it's MPPT tuning down to a lower, higher power setting. Where was I going here? So I have 2 jets on the turbine. If you saw that in my community posts, I'm set up to do quite a bit more flow, probably up to 15, 18 gallons per minute. Now, also note here, this is saying float, so this isn't full power absorption that it could do. Also, I have the output limited to 20 amps because I only have wire capable of doing 20 amps on here. There, 208, 208 watts. Now that's with like, so I measured the 2 nozzles that are on there. It's probably flowing between 16 and 17 gallons per minute with the 2 nozzles going. But it's also in float, so that's not getting all of it. This is not YouTube Inception. This is a direct video that I recorded earlier today. It's playing from my Google Photos. Just reading some of the comments here. Oh, also it's sweeping through the whole MPPT voltage range, and now it's seeking a higher power point. Cardwell, I haven't seen any of your posts get held for review. Normally it would show up here and I would let it go on, but I haven't seen anything, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Andrew H., any experience with welding stainless steel? Only what you guys saw in the video where I built the turbine pit. So very little bit. That's an Ender 3 Pro, by the way, Brandon. RCS pipe welder, probably made a lot of money, probably sweated your ass off for many years. Yeah, manifold. I'm actually just going to go with T's from sanitary fittings. So that'll work. It should work just fine. And if it's not fine, then I have a TIG welder. I can modify them as needed. And yes, oh, Land House. Hi, Seth. Welcome. I do have 17 gallons per minute flowing at the moment. I measured yesterday and I got a full 17, or I actually measured and I got 18 gallons per minute. That was yesterday. The 2 nozzles that are on there now is a 10 and a 7 gallon per minute nozzle. So I have 17 gallons per minute flowing right now. NPN, so it's an NPN junction. And so right now, I don't have this on right now. I don't have a battery connected to it. The batteries that I have, so I had one battery, the battery you guys always see. And I actually bought a second battery like 3 or 4 years ago when I picked those up, but I didn't put any acid in it because it came without acid. So today I went and picked up more acid. this stuff. Still a little bit in here. I should probably dispose of it somehow. Baking soda. And I filled up my other battery, and they're both charged up, and I'm letting them kind of equalize, and then I'm going to put them in parallel and let them drain tonight with a load on them, so that tomorrow I can do some actual bulk testing. Because so far the batteries have been too full, and I don't have a good way of putting enough load on them to really test this. I can only put about, so see here is 14 amps. But I can only put a load of about 7 or 8 amps on it right now. I don't have any suitable 12 volt loads. Well, maybe. I don't know. I could wire some stuff up. The problem is I don't want to kill my batteries. So I have my Victron MPPT. Yes, it is MPPT, but it's a solar charge controller. I have that set up as a battery protection system. So it has a battery, PV, and load terminals. So I have my loads set up on that, and the battery is going into the charge controller. So I don't have any solar going into it, but it still works as a battery load controller. So it would protect my batteries from discharging too far. So that's why I can only do around 7 to 8 amps. Any more than that, and it trips out. So I can't load it properly, and it's just filling the batteries completely. And even if I shut it off, it would just take a long time. It fills the battery so quickly I can't get a proper test. I do have an Arduino. I'd like to get into them more too, but I haven't had time. Almost 5 at night. You mean 5 in the morning? Well, it's a good time to start drinking. If you're going to drink all day, you better start in the morning. RCS, yes, I did buy sanitary laterals prefab. That's what I bought. They were like $15 a piece. Okay, let's go back to this. And the chip cube is almost done. It's at 76%. Landhouse, I assume you're still here. We were actually talking about you a little bit ago. I forget what we were talking about. Anyways, going on to this Penstock, I should also state here that this is script so that I don't forget things. That it's I need to measure the offcut, but it's 800 feet minus the offcut, which I think was approximately, for the sake of this live stream, 60 feet. So I only have 740 feet. Where should I mention the height or the pressure? I suppose we could put it here. Yeah, we'll put it here, because we have 300 feet at the bottom of 150 psi. And then the top would be 740 minus 300. That's going to be 440 feet. Top 125 psi polypipe. And 150 psi because the actual operating pressure or static pressure is we'll say 122 psi. And then also I do have to add metric conversions for everything in here because you guys like it. For example, the ones that are in Norway up at 5 a.m. Go to sleep, Cardwell. Unless you're up early for work, and then good morning. So that's an operating pressure of 122 psi, which is approximately 280 feet elevation change. Also known as head height. Hi, Doug. Please vote out Mitch McConnell, please. Okay. Unloaded phase-to-phase voltage of the turbine is... I actually did that in a previous video, and there was a certain factor. It's like approximately 1.5 times the voltage, the AC voltage of any two phases, I think. It looks like my chip cube is getting close to being done. So my open circuit voltage that I was getting on that, this here, if we go all the way to the beginning, we see an open circuit voltage. Notice there's no amps coming off of this, no watts. This is 165 volts, and that's with 2 jets. With 1 jet, it's approximately 156 volts. So we get a little bit of extra voltage overcoming friction and just powering the fan if we add in 2 jets. And this is rectified DC, so the AC would be around 110 volts, I'm guessing. So I could probably potentially run some AC equipment directly off of the turbine, off of 2 of the phases. All right, going back to this and the comments. Doug, thank you for being on the right side of this argument. Multi-Terminator 4, you're up at 4 a.m. So that would be like England. I have some Tim Tams upstairs. I haven't opened them yet. I should go get them. Not now. Brandon DeGraff, that is a Ender 3 Pro bone stock. Steampuck, we are voting out Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. That's who we're voting out. Because one of our viewers, Doug, is from Kentucky. And, oh, another thing that I wanted to add here, B-roll footage. And this is any footage that's not directly me or the subject that we're looking at. This is going to be... I wanted to do Google Earth flyby. Wow. Google Earthel. 3D elevation. Path drawn. But also I want to add in the walking path. And then also, if I can get it, footage, drive-by near, so the road directly in front of me, I can drive by and look at the hillside. If I do it while there's snow on the ground and the leaves are clear, you can see pretty good profile of the hillside from the road. And then the same thing. There's actually another road, and probably I might just use that footage. Maybe not. We'll see. There's another road that's another 1/8 mile further that way. So the hill's that way. According to me, that way. over there, and the other road's over there. So I want to get some extra B-roll footage of that for the video to give a little bit of perspective of the valley or the hillside, the site. Oh, it's done. There's a lot of lines in that. I don't know why there's so many lines. Okay. I think I might be able to do that. Maybe not this video though, because I won't have enough amps to run a popcorn maker. I can maybe bake a little bit of popcorn. We'll see. I'll just let this cool off. Hello? Huh? Okay, my wife calling me. I don't know why. Let's see if we can get maybe some better light here. And that is too washed out. Let me try to fix that. Advanced settings. Auto. I'm gonna do autofocus too. Okay. And then here we're gonna switch this guy to webcam. All right. There we go. So I was working on trying to print a calibration cube. Okay. You autofocus, go away. There we go. So I was trying to print a calibration cube because I've been having inconsistent print quality on my printer. Yep. And I'm getting some goofy lines now in this print and a little bit of an elephant foot. You can see it there, that the bottom is squished out. And you can see all the lines too. So I'm not sure what is causing that. So that's stuff that I need to work on. I just thought I'd have this printing the background. Again, this is ChepCube with Chep, C-H-E-P, is a guy on YouTube that does 3D printer stuff. And he has a profile for Cura, which is the software you use to generate the G code. And his profile determines how it prints it. So I need to figure out what's causing that. That's pretty unacceptable, I'd say. Oh well. Let's go back to me on the webcam. What is that? Anyways. Let's set focus properly. I hate autofocus. And I also hate the gain compensation because it's... There we go. That looks pretty good. Well, let's get this back out of the way. Okay. So let's go through these comments because I'm sure there's a lot of stuff here that I can answer. Oh, wow, I'm pretty far behind. Have I been talking that long? All right. Got a new RC crawler. I loved RC cars as a kid. But I like them and appreciate them as a hobby, but I really prefer things that I could ride on. So jet skis, I have some jet skis out there, ATVs, go-karts, snow skis. You can ride on snow skis. Okay, so I wasn't actually that far. I guess Scotland isn't technically England, is it? Land a house. Sorry, I'm a little bit behind in comments here. I did buy my Penstock at Menards because the place is locally to me, and the manufacturers of the pipe locally to me didn't have the right stuff or wouldn't sell to me. So I had to drive to freaking Ohio to get my Penstock, which actually wasn't that bad because it was only 20 minutes from my parents' house. I don't have any recommendations. Try calling around to, if you have oil and gas, try them. Otherwise, try calling a water company that does well systems. They would know the best place to get pipe like that. Brandon's saying I might have vapor in it. It's really consistent inconsistency on each layer. It's almost like each layer is a little bit over extruded or under extruded. That's almost what it looks like to me. So I'm not sure. It is inconsistent extrusion. So it's not vapor. I literally opened this package today. It's Hatchbox PLA. I went over 3-phase. Yes, it is inconsistent extrusion. RCS, we learned metric and standard in college, so I work in both not fluently. I mean, it's not a problem. I don't have any problems dealing with metric. A lot of the stuff in engineering that I did was metric. Flow percent, this is all, I think it's 100% flow. It's a CHEP Cura 4.4 profile that I was trying out. Let's see. You guys are talking about units. Yes, geothermal heating is also a place to look. Actually, the guy who did the installation for my water line, for my house, for my city water, he's another guy that I could have probably gone to and bought the pipe through him. Maybe. For tax implications, he didn't tend to want to do that sort of thing when I spoke with him last. Because then he's acting like a vendor and he has to, I don't know, just more complicated for him. Okay, Lane House, Seth, bye. Have fun editing those videos. Supplier could be producing inconsistent filament. So I just printed this also on it, and I don't see that. It looks fairly consistent. So I don't know. And yes, it could be that my separate skipping steps, but when it does that, I usually hear it because it jumps a significant amount. Since we're here, I'm going to do this with... I'm just going to use the standard profile. We'll set it printing again. I don't know if it's going to finish by the time this stream is over. I did like two settings that were brought up. Let me switch over. Mini-me. There we are. So I like coasting. It seemed to really help hide any sort of start and stop seams. And then I also liked, if you type in Z alignment to random, that really hides, again, the start and stop points because they're not all in the same spot. Other than that, I'm going to leave everything the way it was. Oh, wait. No, we will just leave it the way it was. Let's slice that. You don't need to be in there. Come on. There we go. And then I just sync. There we go. Oh, did I save it? I like to save it to my Google Drive and then just sync it, and that takes care of it. I don't have to go around and manually move files. Except it doesn't show me the name of the file, so I need to do this different. It'll be 1. This is irritating. And then I have to switch the micro SD card every time because I don't have it set up with Octoprint or Clipper or Raspberry Pi or any of that stuff. Run it. There we go. There we go. It's going now. All right, back to work. Back through the comments here. Oh, that might be it. Because he does mess with the jerk and acceleration. That would definitely adjust or mess it up, I'm sure. It didn't seem to be going. It wasn't fast. No. I do want to get a Hemera direct extruder. So that would remove the Bowden tube. I don't like Bowden tubes as a concept in general. It seems like an opportunity for issues. RCS, I remember your comment about the accumulator, and I don't know that it would be beneficial if I'm trying to do everything at steady state anyways. The best way to do power in low flow conditions is to, one, have a smaller turbine that's appropriately sized, and two, if you really wanted to, you could put some sort of a storage at the top of the hill. So if I was doing like 5 gallons per minute and I had, we'll say, an additional 100 gallons up there, that would be 20 minutes. Let's see, no. Yeah, 20 minutes. That'd be 20 minutes of runtime. So adding a buffer tank at the top to store would also potentially be helpful. Brandon, you figured it out. Good job. Andrew, you have fresh snow. We don't have any snow right now. I do have other filament. I have the orange stuff that I've been printing stuff into. An IBC tote, yeah, that would store up a little bit of water. But at that point, it's not really beneficial to attempt to use the power, because it's probably going to be more sunny and warm and longer days during like the summer. So installing solar panels would probably be a better option than trying to harness 20 watts out of the spring. And I don't have a storage tank at the top of the hill because I can't get one to the top of the hill. So there's that. Turbine pit. And if you guys have any I'm going to try this white filament again. I don't know. Well, I'm using stock settings, so if it's the filament, then we'll have that issue again. If it's not the filament, then it should come out different. So the turbine pit, so specifically shoved as low as possible. Elevation efficiency of approximately, so if it's 280 feet, I'm losing maybe 1.5 feet at the top and 6 inches at the bottom. So that's 2 feet. So that'd be 178 feet out of, or no, 278 feet out of 280 feet. So that's 99.2%. Oh wow, that's Okay, I don't know why, but it was a lot lower on that print. Like I had to crank the Z up 0.3 millimeters. That's a lot. So I'm using as much of the elevation as possible without any... Like I designed it to use as much as I could. So there's more elevation available on my property, but it's flat and public. Where it is now, it's pretty darn hidden from everybody. All right. Also, an accumulator is usually a pressurized thing, Andrew, and RCS. So an accumulator could be something that has an air bladder in it, like a well pressure tank. And so that is a confusing system. So maybe a better term would be just storage. Water storage at the top, unpressurized, like a pumped storage sort of thing. Let's see. Additional things I wanted to talk about with the turbine pit in the beginning of this. End of August. September because it was dry. The cast-in-place drain box that easily receives my turbine housing, although may actually be a little bit too small in the end. So I might need to add some sort of like adapting tray. And it has a trap. Trap to keep out cold air. An auxiliary drain to drain stuff in the area. But also this is recessed for a seal. To keep it quiet. Especially like right now, if I'm standing over at the charge controller and it's in float mode or open circuit mode, then I can hear the turbine even with the lid shut. Although I have to really listen for it, but I can hear it. So I may need to add additional buffer layers, baffle layers, whatever. Aux drain for the pit in general. And aux drain for, I don't want to call it dump. I mean, it kind of is a dump. I just have a hose spigot that I turn on to keep water flowing. So it doesn't freeze. I should also add in the Penstock here that it is not buried. Relies on 52F. I don't actually know what the temperature is, but it's approximately 52F water to not freeze. Calculated travel time. So if it's flowing 17 gallons per minute, and I calculated this already, the Penstock stores 75 gallons. Nope, 75 divided by 17. So the water only takes 4.4 minutes at what it's flowing right now. 4.4 minutes to come down the hill. Fast, or not fast velocity, that's like redundant. VL has high velocity. So it doesn't cool down. Also, velocity prevents freezing. Also, not my property, so it's not buried, and it's steep. And rocky. I can't easily get a toad up there, and there's no flat place to put it. And it wouldn't store a meaningful amount of power anyways. A rough sketch. Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that in B-roll footage. System sketch. And then I've never actually done a graphic that I think nope, that's not what I want. I want this. A graphic that would be system stats that and that this should probably fade. Expounded? No, that's not what I meant. I guess P. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right. Yes. There we go. Also, a factor that helps is so it's covered with leaves for at least 50% of it right now. As in, I actually manually raked the leaves on top of the penstock, so that adds some insulation. Okay, apparently it won't just let me add spaces here. How many people are in this? All 27 of you. Hope you're enjoying it. So these, I think, there we go. Now, also concrete. lead to keep dry, which is an oxymoron in that turbine pit right now because everything is very wet and moldy. I need to add vents. But hopefully not too many vents that it gets too cold. All right. In this current revision, I also want to do 3D of 3D model of a more final design, so that people will stop saying, "Oh, that looks like junk." Like, yes, I know it kind of looks like junk. Actually, it's not that bad, but it's not the final version. Specifically, a stainless steel housing, turgo, fat feeder tubes, and multiple nozzles. Okay. So now we get on to the turbine. I'm glad I'm keeping you partially entertained. Brandon, yeah, I know there's a 90-degree fitting, but really that nozzle is only flowing 7 gallons per minute. I assume that you saw the picture that I showed you guys on the community tab, a post. So that's a 1-inch 90, and it's flowing very slow. So I don't imagine that 90 is actually a significant bottleneck right now. A bigger bottleneck for my system would be the three-quarter lines. I am specifically talking about, one moment while I go to this picture. There we go. Okay. In this picture here, you see this is 3/4. So that's probably a significant bottleneck right now. And then also the fittings, these are PEX fittings, is probably other bottlenecks for the system. I do have other 1.5-inch hardware coming. It's in the mail. And so all of this is going to be replaced probably within a month. But I just wanted to get 2 nozzles running so I could flow some more water without a single 3/4 line being a limiting factor. All right, back to this. Mike is saying he has not seen the prototypes before. Which prototypes have you not seen? I realize that's a difficult question to answer if you don't have any context. Progress. So turbine progress between this video and previous pit video. So that would be initial startup live stream. Which included poor quality because it was really directly off my phone through cell service. So, blame Cricket. And then also poorly optimized, not optimized. The charge controller is not the right type. So incorrectly chosen. Okay, so I'm gonna have to cut this short. Maybe tomorrow evening we will resume. It's getting too late, and I am requested to come to bed now. Apparently my wife is... Nope, I won't get into it in the video. That is more private life. She doesn't appreciate me talking about her or us at all. And I don't either. I agree it's kind of like a boundary. So that's not for the live stream. Mike, you were talking about the looks of the system. Are you talking about with the prototypes? Okay, I'm not sure. I may actually make a 3D model of the whole system. That would be a lot of work, though. Okay, well, there's the other calibration cube. You can see it's tiny. It's only at info screen. It's only at 48%. And it doesn't have the banding issues that this has. So it's not a filament issue. It would be a settings issue if you were interested. So I'm going to let that finish printing, and then we'll maybe catch this up later. And I'm not going to... I don't have a way of shutting off the stream after I leave. So it'll finish printing in 20 minutes, and then it'll be on all night showing nothing. We can watch more 3D prints at a later time. I promise, guys. We'll watch more. So with that, I say goodnight, and I will see you guys next time on Joe Plays with Water.